Flying with medications or medical devices is complicated enough, but it takes on a whole new dynamic when new rules are involved or you're traveling abroad. You don't want to be delayed or have your prescriptions confiscated at the airport. So, don't leave it to chance. Watch all of these free hacks to make sure you travel without stress on your next trip. Keep your medicine in labeled prescription bottles. You can travel with your prescribed and over-the-counter drugs in any form, including solid, liquid, or cream. But here's the thing. How you pack them largely determines how fast you move through airport security. The TSA doesn't require travelers to have medications in prescription bottles, but it mentions that states have varying laws about the labeling of prescription medication. Save yourself the stress by using the original packaging. This tip is also helpful for international flights and controlled substances. The border officers at your destination may want to confirm that the meds are yours, so ensure the name matches what's on your travel ID. If you must use a pill organizer or unlabeled bottle, have a picture or copy of your original prescription on hand, just in case. Declare your medically necessary liquids and devices. If you're traveling with liquid medication, breast milk, eye drops, juice box, and baby formula, you can happily break the famous 3-1-1 rule. So yes, you can bring more than 100 milliliters of these liquids on the condition that you inform the screening officer at the checkpoint. You should also keep them separate from your toiletries in an easy-to-reach bag and leave them in their original packaging to ease the screening process. The exempt liquids typically undergo additional screening, and you may be asked to open them for vapor analysis. Similarly, if you have a glucose monitor, pacemaker, insulin pump, or other medical device attached to your body, let the security personnel know where it is and prepare for extra screening, like a self-pat-down of the device. Another key tip: pack your meds in a personal item bag. Imagine needing your prescription mid-air and it's in your checked bag or the carry-on you had to gate check. Your medication should be in a bag that fits under the plane seat in front of you, even if you don't have to use them during the flight. It's the one bag guaranteed to reach your destination with you, so you'll always have access to your meds when you land. Of course, you can keep some backup in your checked luggage, but you can still stick to your dosage in case the checked bag is delayed, or worse, goes missing. These seemingly small steps can save you a major headache, especially when going overseas. A medicine prescribed in your home country may be outright illegal somewhere else. I'll explain better in a bit. Before then, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now, here's a classic tip worth repeating. Arrive early at the airport. A good old travel day tip is to get to the airport at least 2 hours before a domestic flight and 3 hours before an international flight. Travelers with medical needs should take this more seriously, especially if flying from a major hub during peak periods. Give yourself plenty of time to move through the security screening process. It may take more time than usual when you factor in the inspection, document verification, and additional screenings. To shave off some time, enroll in an expedited screening service like TSA PreCheck, Registered Traveler, or Global Entry, and keep your medical essentials organized. Check out our video on hacks to avoid stress while navigating airports. Next, and this is crucial, research the regulations of your destination country. Your medication list for international travel should be packed with utmost caution. A valid prescription doesn't matter in a lot of places where certain drugs are banned, and the consequences for non-compliance are better imagined than experienced. Your medicine may be confiscated and you may be denied entry. For instance, common OTC medications like Tylenol Cold, Actifed, and Vicks Inhaler aren't allowed in Japan. Canada restricts the quantity of powdered mineral supplements to 350 milliliters. If you want to fly to the UK with a controlled prescription drug, you can't carry more than 3 months' supply. To avoid trouble, take the time to understand your destination's rules about the import of medications and do the same for your transit country if you have a layover. Bring all the necessary documents, including a copy of your prescription and a doctor's note. Don't forget to leave the meds in their original containers. The security officer can easily identify them without additional questioning. Let's highlight what happens during screening and things you're entitled to. Ask for a visual inspection of your medications. Airport security officials typically pass medications for X-ray screening and may check for traces of explosives. However, you can request a visual inspection if you don't want your meds X-rayed. Make sure you ask before the items are sent through the scanner. You also have the right to notify the officer if you don't want the liquid medication to be opened. They will take further steps to clear the liquid. Speaking of security clearance, you're allowed to bring ice packs or gel packs if you're traveling with temperature-sensitive medications. It's best to keep them frozen at the point of screening, but a partially frozen or melted state may be permitted by the TSA. Understand the legal status of medical marijuana. Traveling with marijuana and some CBD-infused products is illegal for domestic and international flights under the U.S. federal laws. Federal legislation governs airports, so you could encounter problems even if you carry a medical cannabis card from your state. According to the TSA, products with no more than 0.3% THC are exempt from the rule. The security officers aren't all out for marijuana, but they're required to report to local authorities if they find it by chance. Many other countries have stricter regulations, so look up local laws ahead of your trip and take any relevant documentation. If you can't handle the restrictions, discuss alternatives with your doctor before traveling. It's obvious that extensive planning is a fail-safe approach to flying with prescriptions and essential non-prescription medications. So this brings us to the next point. Prepare for flight delays and cancellations. To be honest, trips don't always go as planned, what with inclement weather, technical issues, and staffing shortages. Airborne delays and rescheduled flights are a whole other level of stress when you have medical needs. Pack a few extra doses of your meds so you aren't left stranded. You can also check if your prescription or its alternative is available at your destination. A printed list containing brand and generic names of each medication, dosage, storage instructions, doctor's info, and your contact details. This achieves two things. It speeds up the replacement process if you lose the medications, and it aids security checks, especially if the medications aren't in their original packaging. Equally important is knowing your rights. Here's the deal. Show up at the airport with established facts and proper documents to back your claims. You're legally allowed to carry prescription and over-the-counter medicines in your checked luggage and carry-on. If a security officer threatens to seize your items on baseless grounds, assert your rights calmly and make a polite request to speak with a supervisor. And finally, leverage available resources. Don't sleep on information from official sources for a hassle-free screening experience. If you're in the United States, TSA Cares is a program that helps passengers with medical conditions, disabilities, and just about anyone who needs extra assistance at the airport. Fill out a form on the agency's site at least 3 days before your flight, and you can expect a response from the support services. You can also reach the agency on social media if you want to confirm the legality of a medication that hasn't been covered in their guidelines. If you want to avoid surprises at the airport and stay compliant with foreign laws, consult embassy websites, official travel advisories, and airline policy pages. At the end of the day, you shouldn't feel like a drug dealer because you're traveling with medicines. Now, you know how to come prepared and breeze through security. Understanding medication rules is just a part of travel readiness. What if you're denied boarding for something as simple as your passport's condition? We covered this and more in our last video, so check it out. While you're at it, subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. See you in the next video.